Welcome back to Briggs on Books, another edition of our international talk show where we talk to authors from all over the world. And we have some exciting things happening today because one of our regular authors who comes on quite often is here, Michele Kwasniewski. Welcome, Michele. And, of course, The Rise and Fall of DANI, TRUEHART is the book. And by the way, I'm going to give a little eclipse. A young girl wants to be a rock star, kind of takes you through her life. And you won an award for this, and tell us about the award and what's going to happen as a result.
Great. Thanks for having me back, Mike. It's always great to talk with you about books and everything. So my first book, The Rising Star and the Rise and Fall of DANI TRUEHART series, won 3 of the Fall Book Fest Awards, which is amazing. I'm so excited. Just so I get it right, it won Best Series, it won Best Young Adult Literary and Coming of Age, and Best Young Adult with Social Themes, which in that one really means a lot to me because I am trying to address the pressures and everything of fame that everyone seems to be chasing. So today, not only am I on your show, which is amazing on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, in New York Times on the Times Square Tower, BookFest is running an ad honoring the winners, and my book, Rising Star, is going to be advertising Times Square. So if you guys are in New York, take a picture and send it to me.
Can you imagine your name up in lights in Times Square?
It's a dream come true. I never thought in a million years. I would have never bet on that I would be there. So it's amazing.
Are they going to show the covers or anything?
Yeah, they're showing the covers and they're tracking all the way around. So I think it's going to be up. I don't know how many times today. I think like they said, like maybe 50 times. It's a couple times an hour. So yeah. So.
Now, by the way, I have the book covers up. Can you just say the names or tell us about them a little bit?
Sure. So the first book in the series is called The Rise and Fall of DANI TRUEHART, and the first book is Rising Star, and the second book is Burning Bright, and the third book is Falling Star. And each book follows a different segment of this young teenager, DANI TRUEHART's career as she chases a dream of becoming a pop star.
Now,
go ahead.
Every time you're on, I say, well, this story sounds so familiar. I know people who've gone through that. And I remember now who I know. A young lady is going to perform across the street on Saturday night. And she grew up. She went to the high school my kids went to. And she's going to sing. But she got to go on The Voice. And she's just going through this right now, what DANI TRUEHART went through. I'm going to get her these books for Christmas, I think.
Thanks. It's a lot of fun, and I think that so many people have their eye on their dream, and they want to get there. They want to get to the top, be as big as Taylor Swift or whoever you want to be to emulate. But there's a lot that goes along with it that's very negative, and there are a lot of things that people don't really seem to think of. So these books kind of explore that and show people the darker side of fame and what can happen if you do achieve your dream, all the consequences.
Now, this isn't a story about you, but you were in the industry a little bit.
That's correct. I worked for over 15 years in the entertainment industry behind the scenes. I'm actually an active member of the Producers Guild still. Nice. And I was a production manager and production coordinator on different television series. And I started off in film behind the scenes on sets as a set runner.
So you probably have seen a lot of different personalities that come and go.
For sure. That's what inspired me to write this series, because I saw so much, and I also didn't want to write it about the people I'd seen and met. Yeah. Everyone is completely made up, although there are a couple characters based on people that I might have known or encountered. But I just wanted to show the darker side, because everyone would be so excited to hear about my job, meeting celebrities like Madonna, Will Smith, what have you, and it's all very exciting. Yeah. But you know what? There's a whole other side when you're actually dealing with people behind the scenes, and your hours are really, really long, and you have to make a lot of compromises. So you have to be very mindful of the choices you make.
I bet. Well, what do you want us to know about the books? By the way, I read so many books, and I'm always picking my next book. And if the book is, it won this award, it just helps me a little bit, because I have, 10,000 to pick from, and yours hopefully is rising to the top, and other people see that.
I have to say that my series has been getting a little bit of momentum, and the books this year have won a slew of awards, from the New York Times Big Book Awards, the American Writing Awards, the Pencraft Awards. There's just been a lot going on, and those awards really help authors, because just like you said, I'm an unknown woman from California. I'm a mom. And people don't know that I have this whole series, and it's based on my life in entertainment. My experiences there. I'm not DANI TRUEHART by any means. But so I think it lends a little bit of credibility to see that it's not just, their typos or misspellings or anything else too. I did it the old school way, where I went and I sought out an agent, and I found an amazing agent. She got me an incredible publisher, and this really has been a labor of love because I've been building this series for almost 12, well, a little over 12 years now. And it's finally now getting recognition. But in the beginning, it was all crickets. So I'm very pleased with how it's been received, and it just keeps building up. So I'm hoping it keeps going.
Yeah, I keep leading you in a different direction than talking about the actual book and what it's about and why it would be interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and so this series, it has been read by all ages. 98 years old was my oldest reader. 10 years old has been my youngest reader. It's a clean read, so if anyone's worried about any kind of explicit content or anything, there's none of that here. But it is just for anyone who's wanted to be a rock star or anyone who's had a dream of being famous. This is a really good series to take a look behind that. The first book, Rising Star, starts out when she's 15 years old, and she's been training her whole life, singing and dancing lessons. Her mom's a stage mom, Jody. Jody really pushes her daughter and kind of ignores her daughter's wishes. She wants to go to school. She wants to hang out with her friends. But she ends up landing a contract. And then her career takes off in Burning Bright, which is book 2. She's traveling the globe. She's hitting it big, but her personal relationships are really kind of falling by the wayside. Her boyfriend, her best friend, her sister, and her family. And then in Falling Star, book 3, you know, everything comes to a head because DANI makes some poor choices at the end of book 2, and she's dealing with the aftermath. And the whole question is what happens to her, the falling star, and what is the definition of success? And that is a lot of people have definite ideas of how the book's going to end, and some people are surprised by how it actually ends.
I bet they are. Now, you talk about the cost of getting stardom. So you don't get to be with your best friend or your boyfriend, or you don't get to go to school. There's a lot of cost to that.
There are, because you have to, I mean, look at in the tabloids, all the paparazzi all the time following you. You can't, you know, trip on the sidewalk. You can't, like, have a bad day or send your food back if they give you the wrong food at a restaurant without someone making a comment. And I think it's that constant commenting and pressure all the time from people weighing in on your hair color, your skirt length, you know, are your jeans too tight? Have you gained 5 pounds?
Yeah.
And that pressure, along with everything else, you've got a lot of people, whether you're, you know, whether they're adults pushing you forward or agents or marketers, they're all making money off of what you do. Yeah. So their goal is to keep you producing no matter what. And to keep you producing, they want to keep you happy. So they're not always making the best choices for you, not telling you no, not denying you things, because they want to keep you happy. And in the end, we all know that if you get everything you want, that's not necessarily the best thing for you.
Yes. I just read Britney Spears' memoir. Same thing. You gain 5 pounds, and, you know, it's, you know, everybody's going to talk about it. The other one is, I don't know any Taylor Swift songs. I don't listen to her music, but I'm just fascinated watching her in the culture right now. It's amazing. And
she's been very lucky and very blessed, and poor Britney has not had as much because Taylor Swift seems to have been really protected by her parents and her handlers. Yeah. And she's made really, really smart choices, and she started out, again, as a teenager and has entered the business, has kind of blossomed and really made her career her own and has been allowed to do that. And I think that Britney Spears never got that chance, which is just heartbreaking because she's so talented, and she was at the top.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm glad that she's doing so much better now, and she's got her freedom, but it's a heavy price to pay, and the repercussions go on for years. And once you stop being famous, sometimes people don't really care.
Yes. And as you know, with your DANI TRUEHART, and with I'm watching Taylor Swift, it could take just one thing to change that whole trajectory. And so I just want to make the point, if you're young, you're climbing, you want to get this, or if you're a mom and you think you want this for your kid, get this book, The Rise and Fall of DANI TRUEHART. You might really learn something.
Thanks, Mike. I think so. I hope so.
By the way, I know we're out past time. I'm getting a dirty look from my producers, but what would our guests find at your website?
What will they find on my website? They will have clips like this show right here. Mm-hmm. I run a weekly blog where I talk about being a writer and a mom and my series and what my challenges and my achievements are, things like that. And they just talk, and then it's just all the reviews that I've gotten from my book, any kind of interview, either written or television, what have you. Everything is on there, and then all the places to buy my book as well.
Very good. We have your website on the screen. Also, check out Michelle's Instagram. Author.Michele
Kwas with an S.
Kwas. Okay. Michele Kwas. Very good. Last thoughts for our viewers?
Just, I highly recommend this series. I know people don't always give young adults a chance. They're like, oh, I'm 30 years old. I'm not going to read a book for teenagers. but I'm telling you, young adult books
Yeah, I love
are
them.
for everyone. So don't think that just because you're an adult means you can't read it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to get some pictures of Times Square where Michele Kwasniewski's books are up up in lights. It's very exciting. Times Square is so exciting, and my son who works in Broadway there, he says, "Dad, you got to count the theaters. 500,000 people are going to move through here in the next 2 hours. So there's a lot of people."
It's a dream come true for an author like me, and I'm sad that I can't see it, but I'm so grateful that it's up there, and I hope that it helps spread the word about the series.
All righty. Michele Kwasniewski, whose name I've learned to pronounce finally, thank you so much for coming. We'll see you in a month or so, I hope.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. I hope so too. Take care. Happy holidays.
And don't go anywhere. We will be back with more authors right after this.